Hey guys, what's up? I normally don't do videos like this, but I did want to share some thoughts on the Viltrox Speed Booster and whether or not you should use it for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. I'll be comparing it to the Metabones EF version. The lens I'm going to be using is going to be the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8. I have done this test with other lenses to make sure that it wasn't just this lens. Just going to come out and say it, I don't think you should buy the Viltrox EF-M2 Speed Booster for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I should also mention that this is not an issue regarding the infinity focus, turning the lens inside of the Viltrox Speed Booster. I have tried to do that. I've made lots of adjustments to it. It doesn't seem to be curing the problem. And I'll explain why I don't think it's an infinity focus issue, but more of an optical issue. So this is the Metabones with the Sigma at 18mm wide open at f1.2. So this is the Viltrox at 18mm f1.2. It's a little bit softer. Gonna put them side by side to see if you could spot the difference. I definitely see a lot of softness, and it's even more apparent when we zoom in. So as you can see, the Metabones is like a lot sharper than the Viltrox. I didn't add any sharpening. I know this is kind of pixel peeping at this point, but I think this camera produces such a high quality image. To see it degraded so much from just one piece of glass, I think it's really saying something. So here we have the same settings as before, except we're zoomed in at 35mm on the Sigma, fully wide open at f1.2. This is the Metabones. And this is the Viltrox at 35mm f1.2. Weirdly, these speed boosters seem to be a little bit closer in sharpness at 35mm on the Sigma. But of course, zooming in definitely shows the Metabones being quite a bit sharper in my opinion. The interesting thing that I wanted to point out mostly about the Viltrox is that not only is it less sharp, it's doing this blurring halo aberration effect. So you can see here we're zoomed in quite a bit. On my shoulder, the lining of the highlights rolling off are haloed and blurry, whereas on the Metabones it looks a lot smoother. So what I have noticed about the Viltrox is the more light and exposure you have in the shot, the more you're going to see that haloing effect. Take this outside shot for example. I didn't have the Metabones at the time to compare, but this is the Viltrox at f1.2 outdoors with a lot of light. But when we stop the lens to f2.0, that blurry soft look seems to go away. So it's not an infinity focus issue, and it definitely does have a soft look wide open. And if you still think I'm pixel peeping at this point, here are some shots I took in ProRes, just testing out the 120 frames per second windowed HD mode on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. As you can see, cropping in on the sensor is highlighting the soft effect that this Viltrox Speed Booster is doing. So just for the hell of it, here's a quick comparison with the dummy adapter. This is not a smart adapter, it's just a regular EF to micro four thirds adapter. It really shows off how sharp this camera can be, and also to give you an idea of how much light and focal length you gain from having a speed booster. And as you can see, the Fotodiox adapter seems to be even a little bit sharper than the Metabones Speed Booster, but that could just be chalked up to the Metabones giving you a wider aperture, therefore softening the image. That's pretty standard. But the Metabones does do a pretty good job at retaining that natural skin tone and highlight roll off, whereas the Viltrox just takes it down one peg. And I just don't think the money that you save on the Viltrox is worth it for that reason. And this is totally my opinion. You could enjoy that soft look. However, I am going to be returning the Viltrox, especially when I saw what it was doing in that window HD mode when I was testing out the 120 frames per second. And I just don't think the money that you save on the Viltrox is worth the compromise to this camera's ridiculously sharp sensor. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. That's all I really have to say. I hope this helps some people decide on which speed booster to get for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. But if you're on a budget and none of these tests really bothered you, I'd say go for the Viltrox. But I personally just would not get it.